Hello and welcome to Martin Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you're watching the Morning Forecast Show. Today is the Monday, the 23rd of March, about 2 hours away from the opening bell. And boy, have we had some volatility this morning. I had to rewrite some of the stories in the newsletter just before it got published. So I apologize that we're about 10-15 minutes late. It's because there was breaking news from Donald Trump, and we have to go straight to that. And that affected everything we were going to cover today. But slightly expected because it's the return of Trump always chickens out. So here we go. I am pleased to report this is directly from Donald Trump today, literally less than half an hour ago. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on that tenor and the tone of these in depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, um, which he spelled which wrong, but we'll continue, which will continue throughout the week, and he spelt it incorrectly. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period. We're going to come on to that in just a second. Let me just make sure I'm not being an idiot. Yeah, I'm not being an idiot. Okay, so just double checking that. I didn't expect the Trump to be misspelling things and his team to allow that to happen. But anyway, um, so he's just said that's not too important. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period. Remember, there was a 48-hour period that was going to go over until tomorrow, but no, Jacko is loving the tweet. Thank you, Jacko, for the super chat. We are getting a pump in the market, so I'll come back to it.
Adjikoveleco tipped $50 through Super Chat. Love that tweet, cool face emoji, peace sign emoji, checkered flag emoji.
It's all in capital letters, isn't it? Look at this. It's a Truth Social post, and it is all in caps. So yeah, let me finish reading the Truth Social post. So infrastructure, a 5-day period of no bombing of power plants and energy infrastructure, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your attention on this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Only came out less than about half an hour ago now. This post came out and the markets loved it initially. They are now calling off a little bit. But if we look at the S&P 500, they love it when Trump chickens out. And here it is. Again, nothing against Trump, but it's the back of it's straight back to the taco trade. If you remember back in the tariff days or the initial tariff days, the taco trade was one that everyone loved, and it looks like it's back. So as soon as that announcement came out, but if you can believe this if you like, but the S&P 500 went up 4%. That is crazy. That is in a matter of 5 minutes, 4% on the S&P 500. The amount of money needed to move that is crazy. Many shorts would have got squeezed. And that's why I have issued caution. Within the newsletter, within the title, I am issuing proceed with caution, guys. This is a jump that's based off algorithms, based off short squeezes. And at the end of the day, Trump always chickens out. So what does that mean? Well, it means he says something, but he changes what he says. He says he makes threats, but he goes back on the threats. He makes promises, he goes back on the promises. It's never as it seems with Trump. So we can't just jump around all the time and think now we have to believe Trump. It's going to end in the next 5 days. There's not going to be any attacks, and the war is coming to an end. Because that would be irresponsible of us as market participants just to believe everything Donald Trump says, because over and over and over again, we have known that Trump doesn't stick to what he says, whether that is because he's ingenuous or because he is using it as tactical means. Whatever the play might be, us as market participants, we don't want to be thrown around with all of these headlines. We want to have a clear plan, a clear structure, not FOMOing, not panic selling, and you will win. So if anyone's coming in today and going, wow, I'm on the sidelines and the market's just pumped, I need to buy because I'm going to miss out on the rally of a lifetime. Well, unfortunately, what you're doing there is emotionally trading on a Donald Trump tweet or truth post, which is an irresponsible thing to do. Just like the other way around, if Donald Trump says, we're going to go into World War III, or whatever he says that scares the market, such as 2 days ago when he said, you've got 48 hours until we commit a war crime, essentially, is what he said. 48 hours until we blow up your civilian power plants. That could cause retaliations to desalinizing stations in the Gulf states, which would lead to a humanitarian crisis. Just like he said that, we shouldn't take that as gospel and say, okay, he's definitely going to do that, and the market's going to crash. You need to take these bits of news that come out from the Trump or whoever it comes out from with a grain of salt, especially when it's President Trump, because we've seen how he acts and we know he chickens out and we know he likes to create chaos and we know that potentially he's not the one making decisions anyway. It might be Israel telling him what to do. So take everything with a grain of salt. Don't be emotional. And as you can see here, the market pumped 4%, and we are now down on the S&P 500 from that peak as down 1.5%. So proceed with caution, extreme volatility, have a plan, don't FOMO, don't panic sell, don't get super excited, don't gloat, don't get super upset. Don't panic sell. Control your emotions. What's your plan? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to achieve money in the short term, medium term, long term? If it's long term, then buy all the dips, be all in, and enjoy the market's volatility, because it doesn't matter if you're looking at medium term positions. Have you looked at support and resistance? Have you looked at the sentiment? Have you looked at specific areas which will benefit from the current market situation? Have you looked at the market dynamics? Are you a short-term trader? Are you managing your risk? Do you know where the support and resistance is? Do you know how to control your risk management? Whatever type of trader you are, you have to have a plan in place. And the easiest type of trader is a long-term investor, which is just buying the dips and doesn't care about the day-to-day volatility. So here we go. That's the S&P 500. 4% jump on the back of that breaking news, that announcement from Donald Trump. If you guys have just tuned in, can I ask everyone to please hit that like button? Hit that like button, subscribe. We can celebrate the Green Day, but don't FOMO into the Green Day. This morning, before this announcement, I put out my buys. The market was down, gold was down, silver was down, the miners were down. The markets were down, and what did I do? Well, I sent out the buys for the £5,000 portfolio challenge in the Substack private group. Remember, that private group will be moving over to Discord as it's a better way to communicate with everyone. But we sent out our buys. Literally, we managed to catch the bottom of the bottom. We managed to buy the bottom of the crash this morning, and literally 30 minutes later, the tweet came out, and we're up massively on those trades. So greatest trade of all time. And speaking about greatest trades of all time, have you seen what Martyn did? You saw Martyn go all in on Friday, expecting this bounce, and now we got the bounce. He is now traded. I'm not going to tell you exactly his trades, what he's done, what tax lots strategy he's been using. If you're in Discord, you can go and check out his trading alert channel, and you can see everything that he's done. But another big win from Martyn, and that's what buying with conviction does. Remember, if you're a scared buyer, you're going to lose no matter what. You're going to lose whether it pumps or it dumps because you're scared. So you'll see the markets go down, you'll sell out, and it's the worst of all situations. If you buy with conviction, like Martyn did, you can benefit if the news goes your way. And that's what Martyn was expecting, and that's what he got. So on this channel, we don't trade with emotion. We trade with power and knowledge and thought and procedures. And that's what we've done. So just about an hour ago, I sent out my buys on the trading challenge. We bought the exact bottom. Martyn went all in on Friday, expecting some news before today's open, and he got it. So I hope everyone here in the chat is a winner as well. I'm looking at the chat. Portfolios are loving this jump right now, says Ascend Improvement Hub. Yes. My VIX is down, says Human Wigglers. Yes. We only came back to Friday highs. We can still fall. Yeah. This. We're not out. We're not out the gate. Look at the title of today. What did I call it? Because this is. I said don't believe it, because this isn't the end of the war. There is no. This isn't. This is Trump at the end of the day. He likes to say what he likes to say, whether people are accusing him of market manipulation and moving the market so that people can buy and sell and short within his radius, or it's chaos, or it's whatever he's doing. But we can't trust what the tweets say. So if we go back to the post that came out today, literally now about 40 minutes ago, what has actually been said? Well, what's been said is forget about the 48-hour deadline that was coming up tonight, so the markets can ease. Because that would have, remember, that 48 deadline was very strange because it is detrimental to Trump and what he's trying to do. Because remember, he gave a 48-hour deadline, and the options were either he looks like an idiot because Iran doesn't agree to really opening up the strait, um, or he might look like an idiot if he does that, and they don't respect him. Slash, he would have to commit a war crime under the Geneva Convention and blow up power plants. And the best case scenario was they open up the strait, which was really not something any war expert or any analyst would expect Iran to do while they're still undergoing attack. So it was strange. It seemed like a big lose option for Donald Trump. Um, so we were expecting something to occur, whether it was him to bite the bullet when it comes to 40 hours and him to commit that war crime, as many people would say, or him to backtrack. And what we got was the backtrack. We got the Trump always chickens out. And we got that backtrack. And what the statement now actually says is forget about the 2-day, 40-hour deadline. We've actually had great communication, even though the day prior to this, he said we've had no communication, Iran wants a deal, but we're not talking to them. And then Iran was saying we've never spoken to the US, and the people that are mediating the deal in Oman have said there's been no communication from them. So there is dispute of facts here because Donald Trump is saying they've had great conversations. The people that are mediating these conversations have said that neither of them have really come to the table. And then Iran have said we're not talking to the US. So are they having good communications? Probably not, is what the actual information suggests. So 48-hour deadline is done. That's finished. Now it's 5-day. Okay, that eases the market. Communications are happening. Well, they're actually probably not based on information. Is there going to be a total resolution of our hostility or of the hostilities in the Middle East? Well, we go over to the poly market and see what the markets are pricing in now. They're pricing in a 14% chance of that war ending this month. So not looking like this week. It's now just jumped up to 15%. April 15th, 33%. April 30th, 50%. So we are still looking at over a month of this war continuing. Again, it could be this week. It could be in 12 months, 5 years. But most likely what the market's pricing in, where people are putting their the money where their mouth is, we're looking, and that's the best way to track probabilities. We're looking at the first week of May. And that's what the market's pricing. Again, I'll keep you updated with that. So we're not looking at the war ending this week. And that's maybe what the market suddenly jumped up at. So 48-hour deadline's turned into a 5-day deadline. Is that. Talks, Trump says is happening. They're probably not happening. The war hostilities ending in the Middle East soon? Probably not. Based on the tenure and tone of the debt for detailed constructing conversations, which will continue throughout the week, I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure. So all we're talking about here is the power plants and energy infrastructure. The war is continuing just like it was before, but they're not going to be hitting the power plants and energy infrastructure. Whether that's because Trump's lawyers went up to him and said this is a war crime, whether it's because it would be a lose-lose situation if he did do that, we don't know. Maybe probably a mixture of both. subject to the success of ongoing meetings and discussions. So he's put that caveat in there. He can very easily come out in 3 days' time and say, the discussions are going badly. They still want enrichment of uranium. We're going to have to continue this war. Actually, we're sending troops in because the data suggests there is no talks happening. The data suggests that this isn't going to re- uh, resolve this month or in the next 30 days. The data suggests that there's going to be a on the ground operation in Iran and there's going to be troops on the ground. And the data suggests oil is going to recover and stay around $100 a barrel. And the data is now suggesting inflation is going to go past 4% this year. So there's the good news that we covered good news, and we're covering the reality now, which is still bad news. This is still not a resolution. This is still not um, everyone buy in and the war's over. There is serious concerns, and the reason I'm saying this is not to get everyone to panic sell. I bought this morning. Why did I buy this morning if I think the market's going to go down? Because I found good positions and I've still got money to deploy. But what I'm trying to say is don't get too excited. Don't FOMO in. Don't buy on the green candles because if we go back to the markets, we can see they're selling off. We have the initial pump, they're selling off. Let's go over to some of our main positions and see what's going on. Oil fell down 10%. Now it's only down 5%. Big drop, up again because people don't believe Trump. Gold, it jumped up and now it's down again. It's opposite of what's going on. The FTSE 500 jumped, now it's selling off. The S&P 500 jumped, now it's selling off. XRP jumped, and XRP is already down 3% in the last 50 minutes or 45 minutes since that hike. Nasdaq dropping off. Bitcoin pumped. Now it's back below 70,000. Went up to about 72,000. Now it's back below 70,000. Ethereum, the same story. So don't believe these things as soon as they happen. Most of the time, it's algorithms that buy in. Then there's a short squeeze. Then retail FOMO in, and then we sell off. So you have to read between the lines when you see these tweets. Can the war end this week? Yes. Again, let me just reiterate what I always say. Be prepared for all scenarios. Be prepared for all scenarios. Be prepared for the war to end this week. How am I prepared for the war to end this week? Well, I'm basically invested in the cryptocurrency market with 80% of my spot position is still open from the previous bull run. I'm still invested in XRP with 80% of the position. I've still got my portfolio on the side, which is invested in diversified portfolios, low index ETFs. I'm not touching that. There's no need to trade that. That's 80% invested. My trading portfolio, the portfolio I like to trade with and try and outperform the market, well, that's also slightly invested in areas I think that can grow. But so that's how I'm prepared for the upside. If the war ends this month or in 3 months or in 1 month, the market's always going to go up over time. So I'm prepared for the upside, whether it ends this week or in 2 months' time. How am I prepared for sideways action? Well, I'm invested in the markets. I've got money in bonds. I've got income streams. Perfect. I'm prepared for a sideways action moving market. How am I prepared for the downside? Well, in my trading portfolio, I've got money in bonds. I've got money in gold, silver, and cash and bonds ready to buy if this escalates, if we do go into a recession, if there is a world economic, an economic collapse and oil stays up. So I'm prepared for all scenarios. If it goes up, I'm mostly invested. If it goes down, my trading portfolio, which is the one I like to trade with and make those more risky trades with, which is the portfolio challenge, it's mostly in cash. So I will be able to take advantage of a drop. So be prepared for every scenario. And there's only 3 scenarios you need to be prepared for. In fact, mainly just 2. Markets go up, markets go down. And in volatile years like this year, midterm years are typically the years which are years of opportunity because most of the time they go down. At the end of the year, you've actually gone down most midterm years. And this year, I think, is a year of opportunity. That's why I started the trading challenge because I think the volatility will present opportunities just like it did this morning. Gold and silver were down massively. The mining industry was down. I bought it and now we're up. So be prepared for all scenarios, but just don't get too emotional with your trades. The trading challenge will be coming out on Wednesday, very latest this weekend, but we are on track for Wednesday. The Discord integration will be happening this weekend. So all of that's going to happen. And if you want to get it at 50% off and see exactly what the training course is, because the training course is not just charts, it tells you the 5 main things that build up charts, which is all about emotion. That's how charts work. other people's emotions. You want to learn that. You want to learn the charts. You want to learn the strategies. Add the tools to your toolbox, and you can add the specific what is it? The indicators that we've made specific for you. I've been using them in the background forever, but now I've fine tuned them. There's 3 indicators actually that will be released as part of it: the net worth tracker, the daily newsletters, the deep dives, the portfolio challenge, the training course, the private community, the integration with Discord. All of that will be part of the newsletter. And we're giving away 3 today. So if you haven't got it yet, here is the link. 50% off, 3 people only, and you can get it right now. Martyn's going to be live in about 23 minutes. So what I'm going to do is cover some stories and then come over to live chat. So let's start off with the main story today. Trump blinks on power plant strikes, markets erupt. I do have a poll running right now in the chat. Do you guys believe the war will end this week? Trump blinks on power plant strikes, markets erupt. In a dramatic reversal that sent markets surging, President Trump announced today that he has instructed the Department of War to postpone all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for 5 days, citing very good and productive conversations with Iran over the past 48 hours regarding a complete and total resolution of the hostilities in the Middle East. The S&P 500 jumped approximately 4% on the news, and oil dropped roughly 10%. An extraordinary intraday swing that wiped billions off energy positions and added billions to everything else. The announcement came just hours before Trump's own 48-hour ultimatum was set to expire, a deadline he had issued over the weekend threatening to obliterate Iran's power plants, starting with the biggest one first, if the Strait of Hormuz was not fully reopened. Iran has not complied, and its military has instead warned it would target all US energy infrastructure in the region, deploy mines across the Gulf, and completely close the strait indefinitely if attacked. The pattern is becoming familiar. In the space of 4 days, Trump went from declaring we've won the war to floating winding down military operations to threatening what legal experts and international bodies have called a potential war crime, and now pausing that threat in favor of talks. Under Article 56 of Additional Protocol 1 to the Geneva Conventions, power plants are classified as civilian infrastructure, and the International Committee of Red Cross has stated that striking them may constitute a war crime due to cascading harm to hospitals, water treatment, and food supply chains. Senator Ed Markey called the original threat a war crime. Iran's UN ambassador wrote to the Security Council calling it an inherently indiscriminate. Military law professor Jeffrey Korn at Texas Tech University described Trump's 51-word social media ultimatum as having a feeling of ready, fire, aim, adding that Trump overestimated his ability to control the events once he unleashed this torrent of violence. Amnesty International warned of a substantial risk of violating international humanitarian law. The 5-day pause buys time, but investors should be cautious about treating this as a resolution. The war continues, strikes on military targets are ongoing, the strait remains effectively closed, and Trump's post explicitly conditioned the pause on the success of ongoing discussions, leaving open the possibility that infrastructure strikes resume next week if talks stall. A 4% S&P 500 jump and a 10% oil drop on a single truth post is not resolution pricing. It is short covering and relief, and that happens before in this conflict, only to reverse within days. The 5-day window is conditional. The strait is still closed, and the underlying inflationary damage has already been done. Treat this as a volatility event, not as a turning point until oil futures for 2027 start moving. So that's the news. Remember, it was going to be extreme if at the end of the 48 hours, Trump came out and bombed those essentially civilian nuclear, civilian energy plants which would have caused retaliations to desalination plants, which would have caused a humanitarian crisis. So it would have been a massive deal if by the end of tonight, because Iran doesn't look like they're opening the straits, if Trump would have to go and bomb them. So he had to come out and say something to avoid that. And he's come out and said, there's been great talks and the war could end soon. And we're going to give them 5 days, not 48 hours. So do we believe it? Do we think the war's going to end? Well, that's for you to decide. You don't need to believe it. You don't need to um, know if it's going to happen or not to be successful. What you need to do is be prepared for the scenario where it ends and the scenario where it doesn't end. But also be aware that we've seen throughout this whole war and throughout the way that Trump acts, whether it was with tariffs back in about a year ago, or if we're looking at literally a year ago, or if we're looking at how this war has played out, Trump likes to say many things to cause chaos, whether it's to benefit the people around him trading it or to cause some sort of in case he's trying to pretend there's talks going on because there's no sights of actual talks going on, and then surprise attack with a military troops on the ground. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the most likely thing, in my opinion. Maybe he's just saying all of this because remember, there's no evidence of talks going on, and the 48-hour deadline was pretty crazy. Like that would have been a big move from Trump if he did what he said he was going to do at the end of 40 hours. So he had to backtrack on the 48 hours. Otherwise, he would that would be big issues with what he would do around the world. So he had to go back on the 48-hour deadline. There's no talks going on. In theory, maybe there is behind the scenes, but there's no actual evidence of talks going on. So what do we have evidence of? We've got evidence that he's sending lots of troops there. He's sending the Marines, and we've seen the plans for ground invasion. We know that there's plans ongoing. So what's the most likely thing? Probably is just trying to cause chaos to then send in troops, um, and get boots on the ground. And again, if that happens later on this week, then that would be causing a market correction. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. If I had to give it a chance, I would say more than 50% chance that's happening. But there's also a chance that everything he said is completely true and the war ends on Friday or tomorrow. And that would be great as well. No one likes war. War doesn't benefit anyone, actually. So that would be great, and the markets will pump, and that would be great. Business as usual, go back to normal market news. Is there going to be an AI crash? Is there going to be a carry trade? Is China going to invade Taiwan? All the normal things that are going on in the world, if you want to call them normal. And we can go back to business as usual. And even when we go back to business as usual, the markets weren't looking great anyway. So either way, the markets aren't looking great, and we might get a pump if the war ends, 5% up on the day, and then we'll see what happens. But the market is still, in my opinion, I'm still after today, even after we've made money, after we bought some positions this morning before this announcement, I'm still not super bullish on the markets. I would still say this year is a year of opportunity. I would still say there's a 30 to 40% chance of a recession. I would still say there's a 10% chance of the carry trade. I would still say there's a 15% chance of an invasion of Taiwan. I would still say there's a 25% chance of an AI crack, or I would still say there's a 30% chance of a private credit issue. They're all under 50%, but when you add up all of them, there is actually over a 50% chance of something going wrong this year. Remember, midterm years are down years. Remember, we're not in a bull market in crypto, and we're not close to the halving of Bitcoin. So even take this out of the picture, we're still not looking great, and we've just added inflationary pressures to the whole market, and we're not looking at interest rate cuts. So think about it. Best case scenario, the war ends, and then you've still got all the other issues. So best case scenario, you get a day where essentially something like this goes on, which we just saw today. A big pump, probably a bit bigger, and then we correct, and then we realize actually there's still a lot of issues. So either way, whether you want to believe that war's ending, whether you want to believe Trump and say there's great discussions going on, if that happens, what's best case scenario? The market's not in an amazing position. Maybe we pump 3-4% and you've got to trade out of it. What's worst case scenario, or what's a scenario that's actually more likely, is probably ground invasion. This is a way to just buy some more time, and then a ground invasion, oil stays up, a prolonged war, go for another few weeks. Even if it's another few weeks, oil staying above $100, inflationary pressures, more on the boots on the ground. How long is the war going to go on for in that case? And that would be pretty awful for the market. So I'm not feeling great. even after today's announcement. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, brilliant, because my money is positioned more in the sense that we're going to go up. Because as an investor, you always want to be in the market. You always want to be um, looking in the long term, and how to be a great long term investor is just buy the dips and look 20 years in the future or whenever you want to retire. And the lower it goes down, brilliant. But you want to be invested in the market. Because I'm a bit more of a high risk trader. I have a position, maybe 20% of my overall portfolio, which is potentially the trading challenge which we're doing, which I like to invest a bit more and take risks and be out the market and get into the market, and that's how I benefit from the volatility. Um, but yeah, I am positioned more for the upside, so I am I am an optimistic person, and I do think the best way of investing is being in. So my portfolio is positioned for the upside, but my trading portfolio, which is the one I like to play around with and take some more risk to beat the market returns, is positioned for a downturn because I think the most likely scenario right now is not the war ending this week. Let's go over to your questions and comments and see what you guys think about all of this. Leave me your thoughts. Let's cover people's comments. Thank you to the 400 people tuned in this morning. We will be covering the market open in about an hour. We have just seen the Trump X post. If you are enjoying the content, please do hit the like button. I know a lot of people haven't hit the like button yet. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. Go check out the newsletter. There is a 50% discount. There's 3 people every day that get it. If you want to see those trades I was talking about, if you want to see what we did this morning, if you want to get the daily news, if you want to get the portfolio challenge, if you want to get the net worth tracker, all those perks and benefits right now is 50% off because of the launch of the trading course. Once that's out, the price goes up. Morning all, says Scottish Pie. Tony Turbo says, I'm cynical. I'm always with Chaos Demon in charge. I'm always with this Chaos Demon in charge, says Tony Turbo. Thank goodness for all of us, though, we have something positive. Scottish Beat says, strength in numbers. Martin says, see trades on Discord and Electrum. Greatest prediction and trades ever. Yes, we mentioned this earlier in today's show, but let me tell you all about it again. So Martin's went all in. You guys know, you saw him on Friday. He went all in on the market, expecting a news story like this, and he got it. So let me tell you something about buying with conviction, and this is what Martin does great. Many people get scared. If you're going to make a move, and it's going to be a big move like Martin did on Friday, you have to be convinced in your strategy, because if you have any doubt in it, just when someone comes out and says there's a 48-hour ultimatum, if you don't buy with conviction, you're not confident in your numbers, then most people, they would trade with emotion. And what they'll do is they'll sell. They'll go, I can't take it anymore. The market's going to go down. I need to get out. What Martin does is he buys more on those situations and waits for news like this. And this news came out. And if you go see his trades on Discord, you can see how he's actually traded this as well, and what he's done this morning with that position. So congratulations to Martin on Friday. And also congratulations to the Substack members and what you guys did this morning. We sent out a buy, literally half an hour. We caught the bottom of the bottom. I mean, you can't even get the bottom any more than this. This morning, the markets were down 1%, around 1.2% on the S&P 500. Gold was down about 10%. And we sent out our buys, and we got them. So this is great, and I can't wait for both the communities to come together. And we're going to go. We're going to bring the newsletter community over to Discord. So there's going to be benefits for the newsletter community and the Discord community, and that's happening this week. So guys, get ready for that. It's probably going to be a very easy move over. I'm going to give you a link if you're on the newsletter. You can come over to it. Just tell me your email. I can check your newsletter subscriber. Then I can unlock those channels for you. There's going to be a channel for the newsletter and Discord people to both be in. So that's a benefit for the Discord members there. And then we will have the private community there. So it's going to be great. So keep an eye out for that later this week. Stevie says, let's hope for a green day. Yes, it should be a green day. I wouldn't expect the whole day to reverse. So we could continue the rally today, yes. Sir Joey says, good morning. It's pretty much guaranteed to be a green day. I would say it's just how green is it going to be? If it's not going to end up being a green day, then something's gone terribly wrong. Scottish Pete says, I see Trump is up to his old tricks again. Scottish Pete, yeah, he's back to his old tricks. Trump always chickens out, and he's back to his old ways. Hi everyone, says Rhino Skin. Jerry says if the war ends, it could mean something extremely bad, says Jerry. What do you mean, Jerry? Jacko says good morning from Porto Advan. Oh, where are you now, Jacko? Porto Aventuras. Is that still in Mexico? I don't even know where that is. Ricardo says good morning, banana heads. Jacko says cheers. Self love says lol, stock market was dropping too low, so the president had to do something to pump it up, says self love. Yeah. he loves the stock market and he loves his trades. Raymond Zapta says hello, good morning to all. Up or down today? What's our predictions? Well, we're up 1.25% on the S&P 500. Trump has essentially announced the war's ending soon and that the talks are going great. So it would be strange if the market is down. Taco, Trump strikes again, says DJ Haynes. Yes, he does. Calm before the storm. Anybody who's through this Iran thing was just another forever war. Hasn't been paying very close attention to the last 10 years. Enjoy the show. Calm before the storm. Let me know what you mean. Jacko says pump. Good morning, says Kurtz. Jay says Trump and his buddies must have bought everything they wanted at a discount. Strange timing for his statements just before markets open. I won't comment too much on that, but we've seen reports on what happens behind the scenes with all of this volatility. Just like Mr. Martyn says Jacko. Yes. Mark Thatcher says, oh my God, I got up early this morning, caught the XRP low and riding high on profits. Love it, Mark. Stevie says, you are 100% correct. It's all planned in the simulation. Sit back, enjoy the show. Ropro, you all have no clue. Are you talking? What does the people in the chat not have a clue about Ropro? Educate us. Mark Fractor says, oh my God, woke up. Yep, I saw that, Mark. Congratulations. Yolanda says, good morning. Jacko says, implantation of a new financial system. That's the way. Human Being Liz says, hello, running home to here. Lovely to have you here, Liz. Stevie says, the financial system shift is happening faster than anyone thought. Be in it. And how do you suggest we're in it? Is it just XRP, Stevie? Because I don't think I've seen lots of people talk about the financial system shift, and XRP is a solution. XRP is going to go to $1 million, but we need to be realistic. The financial system is shifting, but it's not to say XRP or a specific crypto is going to lead the way. We've got a special guest tuning in to the show. I'll bring him on now. Let me bring in Martyn. Martyn, welcome to the show. Lovely to have you on this amazing morning.
It is indeed. What a morning it is. And I'm enjoying the show and the newsletter. And congratulations to your trades this morning, catching the bottom. Cannot wait for the Substack newsletter community to come together with our Discordians. It's going to be something really special. So get that newsletter where you can, 50% off, and enjoy that. I want to share something with you before you join me in the show shortly. What we'll be discussing this morning. It is probably the greatest predictions and trades of all time I've ever done, but I'm going to explain to you the mechanics behind it and how I came to that assumption. And also, it's not quite what you think. Already in the last few seconds, I'm getting a text from my press room White House contact. Someone not so favorable is telling me that actually Iran are denying there's any talks, conversations going on at all. We'll find out more. I'm sure you'll hear it on the news shortly, but it does appear that this may be just Trump pumping the market. And let me explain exactly what happened. As you know, I do have a couple of contacts from the press room White House. Last Friday, just gone, I went all in, not just with my cash, but with every part of my margin, and I borrowed money. 700 grand. I went all in. I didn't even have the money in my bank account to transfer into Robinhood. I was hoping it would be there by Monday morning, which it was at 4 a.m. I've been up all night. I've got sort of red eyes this morning. I was watching it. It came in at 1 minute past 4 this morning, and I just about managed to get away with it. So that's how confident I was in buying this pump. However, it is a pump to dump. So be careful. The Sensei was absolutely right. Don't chase it. So what did I actually do? What I actually did was I got all in. The market then exploded this morning, but just about 3 minutes past 6. But at 6 a.m., and I couldn't do it a second earlier, I sold all of my lots of my Google at the top, not the bottom, the top, the greatest losses. And I then also sold my Nvidia at the top of my lots, all the greatest losses, thereby doing an on paper loss of somewhere ranging about $26,000. Now, whatever I earn this year, I've calculated my gains, I won't actually pay any tax because I've lost money on paper. Now, what did I do? You can't buy back into Google. You can't buy back into Nvidia. Even if you go GOOG and then GOOGL, it's regarded as the same similar stock, and the tax and the IRS man won't like it. He won't permit you to do that. So what did I do? I bought VUG, it's Vanguard's growth account. And what that does is it gives me a very high exposure to Nvidia and Google. So that way I can buy back Google at the same price and Nvidia at the same price while still posting a tax loss. So on paper, this year, I've lost a fortune. I think I'm down about sort of 30 grand now, something like that on paper this year. So whatever I earn will be wiped out. I won't pay any tax this year, which is just as well because I will be trimming a lot more. So then what I did was buy VUG, and then it popped up and all the rest is history. So everything in my portfolio is bright green right now, which is great. Now I'm still all in. I didn't pay off any margin. I think I paid about 10 grand off, but just so in case there's a retrace today, which there probably will be. But Sensei is absolutely right. If you see this today and you wake up today and you think, oh, fantastic, everything's great, let me buy the market, you could end up chasing it to be dumped. There's a very good reason why this happened when it happened. Trump loves playing with the market. I'm now getting some more information coming in every few seconds now. It does look like Iran are denying these talks happened at all. So there could be a massive dump back down again. So be careful. I'm glad I did it. It doesn't matter to me if it goes back down again, because remember why I bought. I bought the value of these companies, the forward PEs and the earnings growth and so on and so forth, and the 250 to 300 target on Nvidia and the 400 target on Google. It doesn't matter to me if it goes back down again. I've just ended up posting a loss. Even though I'm all in margin, I can spend the next 2 or 3 years paying it off. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind that because I do expect to end the year up around the 7700 on the S&P, which is about a 20% gain from where we are now. We had a 10% correction or thereabouts. Sensei, what was it? 8, 9.5, 10 from the all-time high of the S&P?
Something like that.
8.5. Okay, that's about a correction. A correction is 10%. Pullback is a bit before that. It's about 5%. This was a correction. It wasn't a crash. The what I'm talking about the 40%. But it's important not to chase the market. I've done this to that way be back in the assets I want. I can now make money and not pay tax on them and keep all the money. So that's why I've done it. So I just want to repeat, Sensei's right. Don't wake up this morning and chase this. I've done it because I was already in on Friday. I know my valuations, my prices, and I'm happy. And if it goes back down again, I can live with that. It's not a problem. I won't get margin called. I got a 46% buffer, which is below the 50%, but I bought more Coca-Cola to protect me from that. And the dividends themselves will cover the majority of my interest payments. Remember, my interest payments are fixed now because I used outside money borrowed at 4%. So if rates go up, and they could do, there's a chance, the UK have just announced in the last hour, there could be 4 rate cuts. Have you saw that this morning, Sensei? Sorry, 4 rate hikes this year in the UK. Have you seen that?
I've seen reports of that coming through, yeah.
Yeah, literally in the last sort of 20 minutes, half an hour. So anyway, it's great, but remember, Trump plays the market. We'll be back at war again in a few days' time. These things are not easy to fix. But anyway, I'll see you all in about 10 minutes, just so I can just finish and reset. Sensei, you're doing a great job. Make sure, guys, you get that newsletter because you're getting 50% discount, 3 people a day. And I just saw from the chart that 1 has gone. I think we've got 2 left today. So on my show, there'll be 3 again. So you can grab 3 from me. But we look forward to bringing the communities together and supporting everyone. So anyway, there we go. I'm thrilled to bits this morning. I couldn't be happier. Perfect timing, perfect trade, right time, and thank God the money arrived from Google to cover my Bank America transfer to Robinhood. Don't ever do that. That was silly, but it was a gamble. I was prepared to take it. Sensei, I'll hand it back to you. Thank you ever so much, mate. You're doing a terrific job, and what a day this has been. And it's lovely to see. Hopefully, we maybe get some peace in the Middle East. Who knows? Sensei, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you, Martyn. We all look forward to your show. Always great to have Martyn on the Morning Forecast Show. Remember, he has his show straight after the Morning Forecast Show, the opening bell show. Martyn will be hosting that very shortly. As you saw there, bought with conviction, got it right, and did his trades this morning. So go and check out Martyn's trades on Discord. And just to bring those numbers that we were talking about, the S&P 500 is down from the peak to the bottom. It was down 8.3%, and if we get back up those targets that Martyn is talking about, 7,700 on the S&P 500, from the lows would be about a 20% move up, and from the levels we're at now would be about 16% move up. So that is the swing we can potentially see this year. Let's go back to those comments and finish up the show. Let me answer everyone's questions. If you have just tuned in, let me just give you a quick rundown of what's happened today. Remember, 48-hour ultimatum Donald Trump set. That was set to expire tonight. Either open up the strait or we essentially commit a war crime, which was probably why he backtracked on it, and blow up energy infrastructure for civilians. That has been backtracked, and it's been essentially turned into a 5-day 5 days from today, essentially. That's when the ultimatum is still in place. But he's said that there's been where are these trades that say not in Substack? Let me show you.
At Thomas Morrow 2501 tipped £1.99 through Super Chat. Where are these trades sensei not in Substack?
Oh, Thomas Monroe, I've just seen your message. Why are they not in Substack? Thomas Monroe. Let me check when I come off stream. They should be there. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Why are they not in? This is another issue. This is one of the reasons we're moving over Discord. Main reason is to bring the communities together, but another reason is Substack's private community is not. Thomas Monroe, thank you very much. I will have a look into that, and then if they're not there, I'll just post them straight after the show because I don't see them there either. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Thanks for the super chat as well. I will check straight after, and I'll make sure they're there. I am so 48-hour ultimatum that changed. Trump came out with the report that they've got 5 days now, and there's great talks going on, and the war could be ending very soon. That's why the markets have pumped. Now, whether or not the markets will continue to pump or believe it, or if it's just a Trump who is chickens out, just be prepared for all scenarios. So if you've just tuned in, that's the news we're covering this morning. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't got the newsletter yet. The link is in the live chat. 3 people today. Martyn will be live shortly, and we'll go over to Martyn. I'm just going to cover some more questions before we see Martyn live. This should be a big turnaround, says Disc Baseball. If it does end, yes, it could be. But remember, there's still issues in the market this year, and I think it's a year of opportunity, not a year of big growth. Good morning, all. Fantastic for the world and also for our portfolios. Yeah, an end to a war would be... War's not good for anyone. It genuinely isn't. It's not good for the US. There was no... It's not good for the US. It's not good for the world. It's not good for Iran. It's not good for the citizens. It's not good for consumers anywhere, whether it's the US or Europe or Australia or whatever, or Asia. Not good for anyone. So the quicker we end the war, the better it is. Jerry says, all in caps. This is good news. They corrected it on Truth Social on my end. They've corrected it already. Oh, Ascend. They've already corrected the witch spelling. Sorry. Sensei is ahead of time zones. Orion says, evening Sensei. Such market manipulation also done before market open after a weekend of strikes and an anticipation of a crash. Says, yeah, there would have been a real down day today if he didn't backtrack on it. Viewers from all over the world. Hello, Tidy Big Dog. Hello, Franken. What happened? Time will tell. I just explained it, so hopefully you know. Ricardo says Iran is saying he's lying about talks with them. That's as expected, and Martyn sort of confirmed that. Tidy Big Dog, peace and love. I love it.
At Tidy Big Dog tipped £1.99 through Super Chat. Peace and love, red heart emoji,
Love it. Love it. Thank you, Tidy, big dog. Jeff says blah 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 about reading all the news for the day and then make some comments. Can you explain that, Jeff? What are you talking about? Hit that like button if you can, says Mark Pierce. If you can, who can't hit the like button? Mark Pierce. Thank you for your comment. I'm sure everyone can hit the like, unless you're probably driving, maybe. And then you've got a excuse. Loaded up on HBAR yesterday under 9 cents, 90 cents. So happy about that. Congratulations. Tidy Big Dog. Take everything with a pinch of salt. Do your own research. Exactly. Scottish Pete says that's what Trump wants, a pump. Shorts got played once again. The market punishes the shorts. The market punishes the longs. Frank Noon says, me too. Let's go, Sensei says, ascend. Improvement. Bitcoin above 70,000. Nvidia all day says, songs for space. Raymond Zapta says, lol, we should be happy. Didn't tech energy infrastructure would have been a big mistake politically. Yes, and I guess that's why he's backtracked on it, because it wouldn't be a good thing for the world. It wouldn't solve any problems, and it would be terrible for him politically and legally, potentially. Songs for space. They aren't sending 10,000 Marines for nothing. Yeah, that's the issue. They're not just going to be sending. This could just be a cover for the ground invasion, which is, in my opinion, probably coming. Oh, how wish I could say what I want. All I can say is legally is hold, says RoPro. Does RoPro have some NDAs? Because I love when the crypto community always cites all these NDAs. I think RoPro has an NDA as well. Songs for space. Put call ratio are signaling extreme bullish Nvidia. Thanks, Songs for space. Yeah, it could be coiling up, ready for a big move towards the upside. That's when the market punishes both sides. Ricardo VIX is still at 26. Sensei, why are mad that President Trump, the GOAT, decided not to start World War II? Were you short in the market? Why am I mad? It would have been awful. How many times have I said in this show it would be absolutely incredibly awful if he bombed civilian power grids, which would have then led to escalation and desalination parts and probably a massive humanitarian crisis. I could be not more happy that that's not happened. I want this war to end. I'm not shorting the market. I'm literally 90% in. I'd prefer the market to go up. So no, I'm not shorting the market. No, I do not want World War III. I'm probably the least war hungry person out there. So I'm not mad. I'm just saying what I'm saying is be careful, because I don't believe President Trump when he says the talks are ongoing. I don't think there's talks on really positive talks ongoing. Even a few days before, Trump said there's no positive talks ongoing. So I just don't believe what he's saying. And what if I don't believe what he's saying? I'm prepared for all scenarios. I didn't think he was going to bomb these infrastructure, because that would have been a war crime. So no, I didn't want that to go ahead. I don't really care about my portfolio, because the best way to make money is just invest long term, and you're great. So I am mostly invested. You have an NDA. Own trauma, I love it. Our own trauma said the same thing. You have an NDA, RoPro. Ascend Improvement Hub. Martyn's going to be live shortly, so I'm going to wrap this up before his timer finishes. We only came back to Friday's highs, still can fall. My VIX is down. It was up, Ricardo, before. Do you think we'll dump now or go higher? I think we will. We could end up higher today. I mean, it's a big deal that this hasn't gone ahead, and lots of people were actually pricing this in. So if that did happen, the market would have gone down lower, but the market was priced in. So it could be an update, but I think throughout the week, we probably will continue down. Is this pump going to hold up? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. Don't see a full reversal. Yeah, I don't think this is a pivot. I don't think it's a full reversal. No. Stephen Huntington, Donald Trump is far from a chicken guy. He's the greatest president ever. No, I'm not saying Donald Trump as a chicken guy. I'm saying that's his tactic. Remember the taco trade? We covered that many times. It's the term we use. Trump always chickens out. The taco trade. 48-hour deadline. We're going to bomb you if you don't open. Then he's gone back on it completely. That's chickening out. Donald Trump always chickens out. That's what he does in terms of the market and what he says. This game isn't for the faint of heart, says Jerry. Hello says Iran Media says there were no talks. Martyn Maher says XRP going to 87 cents. It was great. Sold high amounts in tax lot sales, says Rallo. His mouth is power, says Melvin. Our own trauma looking like a ball trap. Human being Liz, that's before USA Bell. Sensei, why? I've already answered that question. No talks from Iran, but in his dream, he would be the writer. Trap idea. I bet I'm going to go through these questions very quickly now because Martyn's about to go live. No shorts. Oh, God. Gerardo, I've answered your question. What's going on? Hi, Sensei. I mean, your Zap Zone. There might have been an issue. I apologize. If there was an issue, I'm going to repost them straight away. But once we get over to Discord and we do the integration, there won't be these issues again. There is no war, never was. There is no war, there never was, apparently, says IMSO Systems. Iran has denied the story. Yep, as expected. No reason to own anything but Nvidia, best company, markets not rewarding AI capex. Thank you, Songs for Space. Iran calling BS. They're not going to take over the island. They would have to take over the Strait of Hormuz before they take over the island. Sensei, you're talking about futures. Why don't you just wait for the markets to open? Martyn is going to be live for the market open. He's got his countdown. He's going to be talking in about 1 minute's time. There's no official answer from Iran, so maybe there is some talks. Let's see, pop in. There's no officials left. Don't wait, says Redrum. What do you mean by that? Sensei, Thomas Monroe, I'll sort that out. Remember what the Soviets did to Germans after World War II. Chickens out, not by a long shot, says Long Strength. He literally, it's called Trump always chickens out. You can replace it for something else. Trump said something and then he backtracked on it. The term is taco. Trump always chickens out. And today he did a taco. Whether you want to call that a chicken out, which is the term everyone uses, or you'd rather say Trump goes back on what he says. He said 40-hour deadline. He didn't stand up to it because it would be a bit of a disaster if he did, and he's changed his wording and tuning. So he's chickened out or he's backtracked, whatever you want to call it. Chickened out is a term used in the markets. USA used depleted. I'm not trying to offend Donald Trump or his supporters. That's just the term that's been used. USA used depleted uranium ammo in Iraq, also a war crime. Yeah, I mean, that was a war crime then, and they used chemical weapons on Iran and everything. That was the Iraq did, Saddam Hussein. War crimes don't exist if you're on the good team, says Jerry. Sensei inside the situation room. Gerardo, what are you talking about? No need to shout, says, oh yeah, he's talking about Gerardo. Okay, I need to go for no winners. Sensei is Vaz on today. I think Vaz is on today. Yes, we hit power grids in Tehran last night. Launch strength. If that is unconfirmed launch strength, unfortunately. So if you've got that news, send it in. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Stay where you are. Martyn is live right now. Until next time, he's live right now. The link is in the live chat. Go grab that 50% off. There is the link. Please go in there and say Sensei sent me. And good luck to everyone. I hope the war is ending. I hope we get a green year. But just be prepared for all scenarios. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.